Hello everyone, my name is Shawn Sedaghat. I am an immigration attorney here in the Los Angeles area. I hope you're all doing well. Nowadays, not a day goes by where we don't hear something about changes in the immigration law, particularly affecting perhaps millions of people who have been here on temporary protected status or under the DACA program, and there are fears abound about people having to leave the country or face deportation because of these changes. Sooner or later, some of these people will end up in the immigration court, and uh, this particular recording today is about what to expect as far as relief is concerned in immigration court. You can watch our other videos regarding the process in immigration court, the procedure there, and what to expect. But as far as the relief is concerned, I try to shine some light today on it so that at least those of you who are facing it can know what to expect when you go there. The number one relief that people can ask for is adjustment of status. Let's say you have been here illegally for some time, although you entered the country on a perhaps student visa or some other kind of visa, and then for some reason you ended up in court. If you marry a United States citizen, or there are other ways for you to get a green card, there is a possibility of obtaining what's known adjustment of status in court. That's when instead of being deported from the country, you end up receiving your permanent residency in court from the judge. The second relief that you can ask for is asylum. Those who have been persecuted in the past or have a well-founded fear of future persecution can ask for asylum. This asylum can be based on race, religion, membership in a particular social group, political opinion, or gender-based asylums are also one of those. There are 5 different reasons, 5 different grounds for receiving asylum in the United States. Asylum law by itself has volumes upon volumes of law and analysis dedicated to it. So I suggest very strongly, if you think you may qualify for an asylum case, to speak to an attorney who knows this area of law very well. But in any event, asylum is one of those things that you can apply for. Protection under Convention Against Torture, or affectionately known as CAT. The United States is a signatory to the Convention Against Torture, and if it is more likely than not that the individual would be tortured if they were to return to their home country, they will be able to stay in the United States under CAT, or Convention Against Torture, and receive a work permit, although this relief in and of itself does not end up giving you permanent residency. At least it gives you a modicum of relief, and you would be able to remain in the United States. Another one is withholding of removal. For withholding of removal, if you can show you're more likely than not to suffer persecution when you return to your home country. So the standard is higher than asylum here. But for some reason, let's say you are not qualified for asylum. One example, you have filed your application for asylum more than 1 year after coming to the United States. So you are time barred, and you're not able to file for asylum or receive an approval for your asylum. Then you may be given withholding of removal. This basically, in a nutshell, means that you will not be deported or removed to the country that's more likely than not that would persecute you, but you also will not receive permanent residency in the United States. You will receive a work permit, you can remain in the United States, but you may be tortured to other countries. For all practical purposes, other countries usually will not accept you, so you end up remaining in the United States forever, unless you find a way of adjusting your status or the situation in your home country changes. Another form of relief is cancellation of removal for certain non-permanent residents. If you have a exceptional and extremely unusual hardship if you were to return to your home country, and you have a qualifying relative and you've been in the United States more than 10 years, you may actually qualify for this. So the standard is exceptional and extremely unusual hardship. This is a very high standard, and you definitely will need an attorney to guide you through this process. This is not something that you can do by yourself. Another one is cancellation of removal for those who fall under the Violence Against Women's Act. Cancellation of removal if you've been mistreated by qualifying relatives. Another form of relief is voluntary departure. There are two types of voluntary departure: the pre-hearing voluntary departure and the post-hearing voluntary departure. You can ask to leave the country voluntarily, and if you qualify for it, there is a list of requirements for you to qualify for this. If you qualify for it and the judge sees that this is a form of relief you should have, you will be given a certain amount of time to leave the country, sometimes after you post a voluntary departure bond. Another form of relief is prosecutorial discretion. Under this program, which was very prevalent under President Obama, the prosecutor or the government attorney's office would in certain circumstances see fit to temporarily close your case and not go forward with your removal or deportation hearing. I would tell my clients this is almost like freezing you until there is a procedure later on in life to help you with. Your case would be frozen. That wouldn't mean you are no longer in danger of deportation or removal, but for the time being they would close your case and you would go about your business. In most circumstances you would receive a work permit, but that program has by and large ended at this point. It's not available except for certain circumstances. And finally, private bills. This is when you ask your lawmakers to create a bill that they normally attach to another law. A lot of times this is attached to laws related to budget, where with this bill, this law that's written specifically for you, you're given residency in the United States. I had one of these cases at one point. I had barely become an attorney. Maybe perhaps 1 or 2 days after I became an attorney, I saw an article in LA Times where 3 El Salvadoran children had come to the United States, and the main applicant, which was their mother, had passed away. They had thought they can come here without the main beneficiary being present as well. They were put in deportation proceedings. They only had an uncle in the United States, and we did different procedure for each one of these siblings, but one of them we had to ask Senator Feinstein to write a private bill, and this was done and was passed by the Congress. So this individual received his green card, his residency, through a private bill. In any event, it is very important for you to understand that when you're in immigration court, it is a do or die situation. You need the assistance of an attorney. I would at least look through the list of the pro bono attorneys in case you cannot afford one. But this is where you need technical know-how. You need to know exactly what you should expect in court and what you're qualified for, because the list of reliefs available is not very extensive, but you may actually qualify for one of them, and this is the time to do it. I hope you've enjoyed this program. I hope it comes in handy to you. Give us a call if there are any questions. I would love to hear from you. Thank you very much.